welcome to Needle Notes with Stitcher Trish and her nerdy husband Steven.
Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Stitcher Trish, and Steven is my husband behind the camera, and he's my production manager and all these things. He's waving around. But welcome to our Flosstube number 8. This is a channel all about cross stitch and all of my crazy things that I get into with cross stitch, and my wonderful husband supports me in my madness. So thank you for joining us today for a few minutes and checking out the projects that I have going and the things that are my fun and my hobby in my life. Want to kind of get started by showing you some things that I've gotten finished since our last Flosstube. It's been 3 months since we had a moment to sit down and do this, and mostly because life has been a little bit crazy as far as our jobs. I am a high school band director, and we are in Central North Carolina. I don't think I said that. I'm a high school band director, and Stephen is an exceptional children's teacher's assistant, and we work at the same high school. So with the whole COVID thing, since the Christmas break, we've had to do what they call an education pivot. I guess everywhere they're saying that. We've had to pivot 3 or 4 times because of how we're bringing kids back into the buildings. So since January, we started with just a few kids, and then had a bunch of them still at home, and then we've added more kids in, and we're on spring break this week. Next week, we're going to add in even more kids, and the week after, it's everybody who wants to come back into the building can come. That being said, we're still going to have a number of students at home. We don't know quite how many yet, so balancing the who's at home versus who's at school and how to teach both of them at the same time, and especially since it's band and trying to play, I am still trying to wrap my head around how I'm going to make this work. And so that both groups of kids get everything that they need and they enjoy the experience. We have 9 weeks of school left, 1 quarter left, which will also include testing. So I'm looking at possibly, I think, 12 to 16 more times that I'll actually get to see each of my classes. And I want to put together something that is fun and enjoyable and educational and all of that. Along with that, in North Carolina, when the fall hit, they to use the athletics term, they punted the football season down the road. So we started football season mid-February, all of March. We're wrapping that up this week and heading into playoffs next week. So being a high school band director, that means marching band to go along with football season. So we had a lot of fun getting that together and figuring out how to make it work. We didn't have our normal number of kids, but we had a good number. There were about almost 70 of them that we put together in small groups to do rehearsal and then put them all together for the games. They were absolutely fantastic in making adjustments and working with us and complying with all the things to make sure that we kept everybody safe. So it was a good time and a lot of fun, and our team's done really, really well. So we very well may have a couple more playoff games to go. So all that being said, it's just been a lot of stuff with school, and it's been a little taxing on the time and my brain power. So stitching got set to the side quite a bit, and now that we're heading into the spring and I think we have a handle on things a little bit more, I can get back to enjoying my hobby a little bit more than just coming home absolutely brain dead and exhausted. So a couple of things that I managed to get finished since January are pillows. I have a old bread bowl that has come through my family for at least the last 100 years. So we think. My mom and I have been trying to date this all the way back. But it's huge. It's ginormous, actually. But I want to fill it up with these tiny little pillows. So the first one that I did was Dear Joy by Barbara Anna. I finished this back in October. It's on a 40 count fabric called Sunshine from a dyer that was on Etsy called Hand Dyed Happiness. Her shop is no longer open, and I'm very sad. But I finished this up and turned it into a cute little pillow. I also did a piece called Coffee First by Brenda Gervais. I think 3 or 4 nights of stitching, and I completed this. I did my own conversion by using my flosses out of stash and followed her pattern. And this is on a 36 count Silkweaver fabric called Toasted Almond. And so just backed it with some fabric out of, actually from my grandmother's stash. So it's been around a little while, so it gave it kind of a old-timey feel. But these two will join my other one little pillow in my bread bowl. One day I'll fill the bowl up, but I'm not in a big hurry to get that done. I also have two pieces back from the framers. We took these to the framers right after Christmas, and I used some gift money that I had to get these framed. The first one is Crosses of the Kingdom by Rosewood Manor. It's done on a 30 count Edierdown by Legacy Leonard. It's DMC 310 and Petite Treasure Braid Gold. Beautiful, beautiful piece that we now have hanging in our front room of our home. And then the other one is the Crescent Moon Dragon by Joan Elliott. I finished this in January of last year. It's on a 32 count lugana called Midnight Mist by Polstitches out of the UK. This one is done with all of the called for flosses by Joan Elliott. And Stephen helped me pick out the frames on both of these. He's very good at putting things like this together.
Because I have good taste.
Yes. So, because what I would have picked out would have probably not been nearly as nice as these frames.
I have fancy taste.
Yeah. So I was very excited to get these back. And the Crescent Moon Dragon hangs in our TV/family room, whatever you want to call it. So I'm very excited to have all these back. Now into the projects that I'm actually working on. The first one is my temperature library. This is by Dr. Kristy of Kristis Corner Needlework. She has a floss tube and an Etsy shop, and I will link those in the description box. This is done on 14 count Aida, and it's the high temperature of every day so far this year, minus the last week. Typically on Saturday or Sunday is when I sit down and fill in the books for each week. She also has a knick-knack expansion pack to go with this that you can purchase, and then you can customize your shelves with all these different knickknacks that she has in this pattern. So this is a lot of fun to do. It's neat to see the colors as they come across and change, and we've gotten into the 80s the last couple of days, so this week's colors are going to be different on the bookshelf, so I'm excited to get those put in. The next piece that I just had a page finish on last night is Dragons of Sumitra by Ink Circles. This is on a 40 count fabric called Ancient from, again, Hand Dyed Happiness. And I'm using red Silks for You. I believe the number is PR 170. But nonetheless, finished up page number 8 last night. So I have 2/3 of this piece done. Just got 3 pages left to do, which I really I really want to finish this one. So this may be really high on my priority list for the next couple of weeks, just to try to see if I can get 1 or 2 more pages in on it. Love this piece. It's just so much fun to work on, and the Silks for You just works so easily. It doesn't tangle. Highly recommend Silks for You if you want to work with silk. It's just beautiful. This next one I have not touched in a good 2 months, but it's called the Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. I finished up page 2 on this, so it's everything from the dragon claw to the right of the dragon claw. That was all of page 2. So I finished this up, and I'm doing this on a 14 count Aida, an ivory Aida, that actually was labeled as Hardanger. It's stuff out of my stash that I've had for 20 years or so. And I'm using black Silks for You, using 2 strands on this one, so it would be super, super thick. Most of the time I tend to stitch with 1 strand if at all possible, because I just like how that works much better. But I'm doing this one on 2 strands so that it's so very thick and great coverage, and this will end up looking like a pen and ink piece when it's done, more so than needlework. So very excited about this Long Dog Sampler, and the long process on this one. It'll be years before I get it finished. But those are the 3 that I've spent time working on over the last month intensely. I have one other one that I've spent Lent on, and I didn't get as much done this year as I did last year. It is called Agnus Dei by, and I didn't write it down, and now it's not coming to me. I'll put it in the description box below. It's just not coming to me. This is on Herring Gray by Legacy Linen, and I'm using just B5200 DMC on it. And last year I managed to get 3 pages done of this, and lint started right at the beginning of lockdown last year. This year I had so much else going on that I only got 1 page done on this, so it will be my Lenten stitch for probably several years to come, but I plan to put that one away for a little while and bring it back out next year at Lent. Modern Folk Embroidery, there it is, Agnus Dei by Modern Folk Embroidery. And it is a 30, nope, it's a 40 count. It's a 40 count linen as well. Next, I want to get into a little bit of haul. I've not purchased a lot of stuff, but it's pretty cool stuff. So the first thing is there's Sassafras Samplers is the chart publications by Sassy Jack Stitchery. We live about 2 hours away from Sassy Jack, so it's a real quick trip up there to visit Kimberly. The store is closed at the moment because she is moving locations, but her online is still open. And I finally just pulled the trigger on this and ordered these 2 charts. It's the Spooky Shakespeare series that she's putting out with Sassy Jacks. Allie Dudley is the person that charts for her. And I already had Fillet of Finny Snake. That one was the first one that came out. The next one on the list is called Eye of Newt. So I purchased that, and then the next one is Adder's Folk. So there's one more that will be coming out, I hope, pretty soon. When I get that one, on the back of each of these is a portion of a 5th bonus piece. All of these work up on a 40 count to about a 4x6 size. So when I get the last one and I have all 5 of them, then I'm going to figure out how to put this thing together in one piece. And my goal is, I have a friend that I want to do this for. It's all based on Shakespeare's play, on the Scottish play, and I'm going to watch Stephen cringe as I say this, Macbeth. For all the thespians out there, you just don't say the name of the play. So in our home, usually it's just referred to as the Scottish play. And I have a good friend that's a theater teacher, so I hope to do this for her down the road. The next chart that I purchased is, again, another chart from Dr. Christie, or Kristi's Corner Needlework. It's called Harpy and Dragon, 1596. It is based on a lace pattern, so it's just really cool. Should be a really quick stitch and a lot of fun to do. So of course this is in my stash for something that I'll take on down the road. Probably going to end up being pillows for my bread bowl and turn this into 2 charts is what I'm thinking right at the moment. Also, I want to show you the great silks that I got January, February, and March from Stitch Me. Beautiful, beautiful silks. The first ones are the January. They're all pinks. It's taffy, pretty in pink, tulip, blush, and the last one's called Dirty Piggy. It's the best name ever. And then February, they were all these wonderful red colors. So the first one is my favorite. It's called Vampire Kiss. Then Poppy, Red Barn, and Red Velvet. They're very close, but there's a little bit of hue difference in them. It's kind of cool. And then the last one is Sangria. And then March, they were all different grays. The first gray is an unnamed gray. The next one is Smoke, then Moon, then Chains, and Artemis. So I'm very excited to add these to my stash as well. Just wonderful, wonderful silks from Stitch Me. Should
I be worried that your favorite one is Vampire's Kiss?
Might be something you need to be concerned about, perhaps. Says the guy who watches vampire and undead shows. So, and the next bit of haul that I got is my Fortnite Fabric subscription. I am in their monthly Fabric of the Month club, and I did the 12 Shades of Gray from them this year. And I was expecting, honestly, for the grays to be pretty close together, and the reality is I really didn't realize that gray could be so varied. The first one is the January. It was called Pardon Me. The second one is February, called Honk. And the third one is the March one, and it is called Road Trip. So really, really cool, beautiful fabrics. Then the last thing that I want to show you is I've got everything put together, all the flosses, picked my fabric, got the beads, everything to start the Mirabilia Snow Queen. My fabric is a Be Stitch Me 32 count opal lugana called Frost. It's really beautiful. I'm excited to use this. It's the first piece of opal fabric I've ever purchased because I'm just not a shiny kind of blingy person, but for Snow Queen it had to be an opal. And then the bead pack I got from Garon Stitchery out of Florida. And then the flosses have come from all kinds of different places. The majority of them are DMC, but there's a couple of Gloriana and Petite and Treasure Braid flosses in there. So I have everything put together. The next time the mood strikes me to start something, this one's next on the list. I don't have an exact date for that because right now I'm really wanting to work on Dragons of Sumatra and get that finished up. So that's what I've been up to for the last 3 months in the stitching world. I want to thank you again for spending a little bit of time with us. Also want to let you know what's going on in our Etsy shop. Stephen and I have an Etsy shop called Foreverusneedleraft. He does fobs and all of the zipper pulls on bags and anything jewelry related because he's a wonderful jewelry maker as well. The bags, I do all the sewing on those. So we have a new bag that will be added to our shop this week. It's a coffee bag. I don't have a name for it, but I'm a big time coffee drinker. I don't function in the mornings without my coffee. I just, so it's got this great outside coffee fabric and the inside is just coffee beans. So if you're interested in this, there's a couple of them in our shop. Please go check that out. And again, thank you so much for spending time with us. We hope you're having a wonderful spring. Our weather has been just fantastic. Other than the pollen that comes with fantastic weather, it's been a glorious week, and we've enjoyed having a little bit of downtime and time off. So we hope you're doing well, taking care of yourself, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.